Am I the asshole for reminding my friend that just because she's poor, doesn't mean I am? I'm 20F, enrolled in the laundry program at school, where I pay a lump sum, and they do my laundry for me all year. It's very popular at my university, and they pick it up from my dorm weekly.
My friend, 21F, is weirdly obsessed with this and constantly comments on it for some reason.
She always comes over and sees my bag, and has some random comment to say.
She'll say, "How could anyone pay for that?"
To which I always say,
"Why would I ever do something I don't want to, if I can just pay someone else to do it for me?"
I'm wondering if she's like this to everyone, because that would explain why she has few friends. Almost everyone I know uses the laundry program. Her unwanted comments make me like her less. She did it again, and was like, what a waste of money.
The laundry program is ridiculously expensive, and no one can afford that. I simply said that I don't find it expensive at all, and that she finds it expensive because she's poor.
I'm not,
so I'll continue paying for the program.
She's furious that I called her poor.
But she is.
It's just a fact. Am I the asshole? Esh. She clearly is jealous and resentful, and you clearly are unempathetic, snotty and not caring or savvy enough to handle this with any wisdom or grace. Pointing out someone's lack of resources isn't kind. Did you earn that money or it is your parents who actually pay? I'm surprised you have any friends, too. Esh. This is not hard. I hate doing laundry and I'm lucky I have the money to hire somebody else. I got it, you think it's a waste of money. I don't care what you think about my laundry.
Stop giving me shit about it.
You can shut her down hard without calling her poor.
Is this real?
Esh, but you're definitely the bigger ah. For many people, college is the first time they're exposed to truly different lifestyles, economic class structure, and upbringings. You could both learn from each other. Neither of you chose the backgrounds you come from. I was going to go with everyone sucks here, but after reading your incredibly entitled and self-absorbed comments, want you to know that you are leaning towards you are the asshole, and boy are you in for a shock in life.
You've been fortunate enough to have generous parents who are willing to support you financially, but this is not the case for all people, even those from upper middle-class families.
My parents were wealthy and they held every dollar over my head. Not everyone has parents who are willing to help even if they can. You need to be more self-aware and empathetic towards other people.
Be sensitive and kind, because life always comes full circle.
She's furious that I called her poor.
But she is.
It's just a fact.
You are the asshole. Just because she can't afford the program doesn't make her poor, it just makes her less well off than you. Your use of poor is derogatory and dismissive in this context, and you know it.
You are the asshole. Yes, your friend's comments are annoying.
But your attitude is entitled and snotty, frankly.
Calling her poor and pointing out you're rich is pretty much the epitome of being an entitled ah. Am I the asshole for admitting my sister taught me how to cook and refusing to teach my stepsiblings? My older sister, 26 female, taught me, 16 male, how to cook years ago.
Whenever I go to her house we cook together too. She doesn't speak to our dad at all, and she never met his wife or his stepkids. She always said she's not a part of Dad's family, but she and I are family, and that feels pretty right. Honestly, I feel like I'm a part of her family but not Dad's. He's just made so many mistakes and he only owns up to some of them. Some of them happened when our mom was sick, like disappearing for days at a time and leaving my sister to take over caring for me and for Mom.
Or like selling a lot of Mom's stuff so we'd have more money in the direct aftermath of her death. Or when he invited a random woman into the house after Mom's funeral and very clearly had sex with her while we were in the house and let the random woman wander around like she owned the place until the next day. He admitted to my sister that he cheated while Mom was dying. I heard him confess to her.
But stuff like that are Dad's mistakes. He just didn't give any consideration to us. My sister was like, fuck this, I'm out 8 years ago, and she said even back then she'd never come back, which she hasn't.
I sometimes cook for myself. I eat at friends' houses a lot too.
So the other day I went out to grab some ingredients and made a pasta bake for myself, and my dad's wife and her kids came home while I was eating. His wife questioned me later in the day and asked where I learned to cook, and I admitted my sister taught me.
She told me it would be great if I taught her kids, it would give us some bonding time. I was like, no, I don't wanna. She insisted it would be perfect and a sweet idea. Dad didn't say anything.
His wife's daughter said she really wanted me to teach her and got excited because she saw it as a done deal. When I didn't give in, my dad's wife told me I should pass on the big sibling knowledge of cooking, and it's important that I take on an older sibling role with her kids instead of acting like we're strangers. I said we really are. I told her I already have a sister and I don't need another or a brother. I also told her it wasn't my job to be her kid's big sibling. She told me it's selfish to hold out when I had a big sibling to teach me. Am I the asshole?
Stepmom, I understand that you think it's a sweet idea. I don't disagree. I had a good time learning from my sister.
But that interaction came out of a genuine interest in both sides.
You trying to force me to do this with your children really just results in me disliking you and your kids.
As far as the practical skills, my sister was able to figure out cooking even without an older sibling or even parents. Your children will figure it out eventually too, but are also lucky enough to have you. As for the bonding opportunity, it wasn't something I was keen on to begin with, but you have actually soured me on it now. Your kids and I have a okay relationship right now. Please don't ruin that for us by trying to force something out of its natural evolution.
Not the asshole.
Tell her that her children don't have an older sibling like you do, but they do have a mother to teach them. Tell her that your older sibling had to stand in for your deceased mother, and would she prefer her kids be in that situation?
Not the asshole.
Your dad and his wife did not do anything right to make you really feel like a family. So, your refusal to treat all of these entitled people like a family is understandable.
Tell her that if she dies while her kids are still small, you'll teach them how to cook. In the meantime, they have a mother that can teach them, so you'll decline for now. Not the asshole. Cooking is already a special thing for you and your sister. I'm glad you have her. You are not obligated to provide life lessons to her children. That's her job. Not the asshole. Your stepmother can teach your kids to cook her damn self. Her kids aren't your siblings and you aren't obligated to them at all. At most, you should be as nice to them as you would acquaintances at work.
If a friendship develops with them organically, that would be great, but her trying to push it will ensure that it probably never happens.
Am I the asshole for telling my father-in-law that I don't want the house he bought us?
My father-in-law is a generous man, but has what he refers to as the asshole gene, meaning that he doesn't stop to consider what anyone else wants in many situations. Since my husband and I have been living with my husband's brother, father-in-law decided that when the neighbor's house went on the market for a steal, he'd buy us the house. After consulting with his financial planner, the decision was made to have both father-in-law and my husband on the title deed to the house. We would pay all taxes and utilities, and when father-in-law passes, husband would inherit the house.
Here's where it gets messy. The house needs a lot of work. Originally, husband and I were going to be responsible for improvements and repairs, so I started meeting with contractors and getting estimates for the work. My husband doesn't know much about home repair or renovation, and I do. My family has renovated multiple old homes, so he's been letting me handle all of the work with the contractors. Even so, father-in-law will not speak directly to me about anything related to the house.
My poor husband has to play messenger, telling me what his dad wants to do, then telling his dad that I've actually got it handled, and want to do something different. The final straw came today when my husband relayed to me that his dad has said that any permanent changes to the house that cost more than $5,000 have to be approved by him.
Even if we're paying for them, he wants to sign off on all decisions, including tile colors, light fixtures, etc.
So I forwarded all of my communication with the contractor we'd chosen, haven't signed anything yet, and said that if he wants to make the decisions, then he can make all the decisions. He will own the house, and we will sign a rental lease when the work is done. He'll have to pass city inspections for rental units, and abide by all state and local rental law. Now he's mad, and I'm ungrateful, selfish and controlling.
At this point, I don't even want the house anymore. I'm ready to take the cat and go stay with my brother, but I don't actually want to leave my husband. I'm just sick of catering to his dad's whims. Not the asshole. You figured it out. This is how he will control the both of you until he dies. First is fixing the house, then it will be living in it. You will need permission to have more than 2 guests over, or if you get a pet, or how you do the gardening.
Worse, he bought this house for you, but you can't have it until he dies, which he can hang over your heads as leverage for the control.
If you don't do X, I will take you out of the will and so on. I wouldn't even rent from him if he is next door. Your privacy and your life will become his. Not the asshole.
The only reason that the house would only be in your father-in-law and husband's name is to protect the house from you if there is a divorce. That is a smart move on their part if you are not contributing to the financing of the house. It would be a smart move on your part to not invest any money into the house outside of paying bills.
Your issue is with your husband.
If he's going along with this, then you two need to have a serious talk. Is this what you both want?
Would you rather just wait and buy a house together in both of your names?
What is the underlying issue behind this behavior?
If your husband is willing to let his father treat his wife this way, then your problem is clearly with your husband.
Your name isn't even on the deed, but you're expected to do all the remodel work. You do the work, but your father-in-law doesn't like it, so he vetoes it. He vetoes it, but you're not even worth the breath it would take him to talk to you, so he goes through your husband as a messenger. In the end, your husband delivers his dad's message to you rather than telling his dad that he's being a jerk to you and that he won't tolerate you being treated this way. See, you have a husband problem.
Not the asshole.
Not the asshole, and if your name isn't on the deed, then tell your husband no marital assets are going toward that house. Walk away and let him figure out how to fix up the house and he can rent it out. He will own the house.
The house he bought us. These cannot both be true. Not the asshole. Your father-in-law is trying to screw you.
Don't put a dime of your own money into the house and keep your finances separate from your husband's.
Shameful. Am I the asshole for canceling on husband's family vacation? My sister-in-law, 41, booked a 3-bedroom Airbnb for the end of summer break and invited my husband, 36, and I, 34, to join. We agreed to pay for the half of the Airbnb after she showed us pictures, etc. We asked questions and all seemed clear. We figured she'd probably be inviting her boyfriend, and when we asked about the need for 3 bedrooms, she just said it was all that was available. Hey, whatever, right?
Then, a few days later, her boyfriend comes over for dinner with her and lets slip 2 other details previously left off.
One was that his 6-year-old daughter would be coming. We actually didn't care about this at all. We have met her and she's adorable.
Then, however, he mentioned detail number 2. The 3rd bedroom is actually just a small office space they threw bunk beds in and they planned on having my husband and I stay in it. We giggled and asked why we would take bunk beds when there were 2 bedrooms with queen mattresses. Apparently, because they wanted to give their 6-year-old her own room and the closest one to their master suite was the other queen room. Husband and I were quiet and said nothing.
It was obvious we were unhappy. Sister-in-law explained their reasoning and just said it wasn't a big deal.
Well, we mulled it over and decided it made no sense to pay half the Airbnb cost for the room we were getting, let alone for the fact that we were staying in 1/3 occupied rooms. So we respectfully asked her to cancel, which it's early enough to still do, and even offered up the cancellation fee if for some reason they were still charged.
Sister-in-law is now angry and saying we are ruining 6-year-old's vacation.
I don't feel we are wrong.
This is actually not the first time she's done something like this.
Husband is kind of fluctuating back and forth on whether we should just suck it up, but I'm still unhappy with the arrangements. The last bit I'll add last as it's significantly smaller.
We both are pet owners.
She has 2 large dogs and a small dog. We have 2 small dogs.
Everyone said they were boarding the dogs.
It is expensive to do so in Florida where we live. The boyfriend let slip they plan to bring their small dog along, though, as the boarding costs are crazy for them since it's only 2 dogs per kennel.
I suppose I'm just feeling like the costs are mounting for us and the expectations are that we will suck it up and go along with every little demand, while they bend rule after rule in their favor.
Should I suck it up? Am I just being a witch?
We normally get along so well. Not the asshole.
It's ridiculous that a 6-year-old gets her own queen bed and you get bunks in a modified office. And then you get to pay for half of the whole house?
They have 60% of the people and 66% of the beds.
But you can see where their priorities are given, that now you've balked, you are ruining a 6-year-old's vacation, no consideration being given to your vacation. The only reason I can see to suck it up is if the destination is absolutely amazing and it's worth whatever discomfort just for the opportunity of spending time in that place.
Not the asshole. Tell sister-in-law that you will pay half of the Airbnb if you get 2 bedrooms with queen-size beds and bring your 2 small dogs. Sister-in-law can have the bunk beds and fill them with any guests and animals she wants.
Then ask her how fair that sounds to her, and point out it is a better deal than she is proposing to you.
Not the asshole.
They deliberately withheld pertinent details they knew would impact your willingness to split the bill. Your sister-in-law wanted your dollar to fund her vacation.
She's mad she got caught. I wouldn't let her take the lead planning any future events with you either. Not the asshole. If you backing out means a child's vacation is ruined, that's them admitting they were counting on you to subsidize their trip. Not the asshole.
Based on what you wrote, you maintained your respect and they bent the rules to their advantage.
You gave the best response to such an unfair situation. I don't think it's right to tolerate other people's selfishness just to keep a good relationship. You are completely justified. Wow, this blew up.
Thank you for making me feel like I'm not crazy. Funny enough, as I've scrolled through and read countless comments and replies, I don't think I've seen a single post that wasn't not the asshole. Every single reply just says sister-in-law is out of her mind.
Thank you all so much. Edit. I cancelled and got the receipts from her. Husband is luckily on my side, even if he feels a little bad for the little girl. Even he knows this was a load of bull.